Hi, I'm Alex Howard, and first I'd like to welcome you to this video. Now, the chances are if you follow our newsletters, you might be getting a little bit sick now of us teasing you about various changes that have been coming along for the Optimum Health Clinic. And so in the series of 3 newsletters, over the next 10 days or so, we're going to be talking about one of those changes in each newsletter. So we're not going to do it all at once because there's a lot of things that are happening. And this is really the culmination of a huge amount of work behind the scenes over the last kind of 6-7 months or so to really bring this to fruition. And I should say that I'm really excited to be talking about these changes because it really feels like a big kind of transition and almost turning point for us here at the Optimum Health Clinic. You know, when the clinic was started back in 2003, 2004, around the time of publishing Why Me, it really was an attempt to try and provide the kind of service and support that I would have wanted to exist on my own recovery path. And as things then developed and evolved, it really became about creating the most integrative and comprehensive treatment approach anywhere that they're available for helping people to find their way to recovery. And as we developed that, and I'm really proud of the work that we did in this area, we started to grow and started to expand as an organization. And then in some ways our focus changed a little bit. And our focus became also about how could we grow the organization and bring more people into what we were doing, but also maintain the essence and the quality of what it was that we were doing. And so that was our focus for quite a while. And then looking at how did we integrate, how do we build the systems and the structures and the processes to make all of that possible. And along the way, there have been various kind of stepping stones and various things that have happened that I think we're all very proud of. You know, things like the Freedom from ME documentary DVD we produced back in 2006, so it's over 5 years ago that came out, to in 2009 winning Can Magazine's Outstanding Practice Award, something that we were all very proud of at the time. And then various other things like the redevelopment of Secrets to Recovery, our registered charity, the Optimum Health Clinic Foundation. And as I say, this feels like another big transition and turning point for us. And it's really been the result of us really taking some time to reflect this year and thinking, what do we see as the future of the Optimum Health Clinic? And not only really the future of the Optimum Health Clinic, but also the future of our industry, you know, of integrative health. What needs to happen for that to really move forwards? And the answer on one hand is very obvious. The answer, of course, is research. We need more evidence behind the kinds of things that we do to hopefully one day have things like government funding available. People would be able to get more funding through private health insurance or get access to that kind of funding for the kind of things that we do. But of course, the big limitation to being able to do research is having the funding to do the research. You know, when people say to me, well, there's no evidence for that approach, I always say, well, the fact there's no evidence doesn't mean it doesn't work. What it means is no one's funded the research to investigate it. And after spending a number of years kind of being frustrated about this, I guess at times complaining about this, really, I realized that if we wanted things to be different, we had to make them different. It's often what we say to our patients. We want our lives to change, then we have to be the one to do something about it. And that's why we took the decision back in the springtime to set up our own in-house research department. And in June this year, Dr. Megan Arrell joined us from the University of East London as our research director. And Meg has had her own journey with ME chronic fatigue. She actually spent, I think it was around 2 years, virtually bedbound and light and sound sensitive. So really as severely affected as you can get. And I know she's been very excited to join us here at the clinic to move forwards the research area that she feels very passionate about. And one of the things you may be wondering, well, you know, how are we funding this? Because as we say, research is expensive. And that's where one of the key pieces, I guess, of this video comes in. That we've decided to make a research pledge that at least 50%, and at the moment it's 100%, of any profits made by the clinic side of the Optimum Health Clinic for the next 2 years at least will be invested in our research department. And any surplus beyond that will go to our registered charity, the Optimum Health Clinic Foundation. Now, this is a major commitment for us to really see if we can move this area forwards as much as we can. Now, at the point of recording this video, we actually already have one paper which has been accepted, which is being published in hopefully December this year. We have a second paper which is just being submitted, and we have the third paper, which is really the first part of our what we call our clinical trials, which we're writing up at the moment. So since we set this department up in June, we've really started to make quite a lot of progress, and we're really excited by that. Now, as part of this, we've also built a brand new website for the kind of ME, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia work that we do at the Optimum Health Clinic. So from the point of this video going live, so if you're watching this video, if you now go to freedomfromme.co.uk, you can see that new website and you can find out a lot more about the research department. You can watch a couple of videos where I'm interviewing Meg about her own background and her own story, and also the background behind the research department, and a bit more detail about some of our kind of goals and aspirations for what we're going to be doing there in that department. You can also see a bunch of new bits and pieces about various other parts of the clinic. You can see some new stuff around the psychology department, the nutrition department, updated bios on practitioners. There's quite a lot of new stuff that's on there, and we're going to keep adding to that over the coming months. Now, as I said at the start, this is the first of 3 video newsletters where we're talking about various changes. So this is change number 1, that are setting up our research department with this research pledge and this building of evidence, which I think is so important. Our second announcement will come out in the next probably 3 or 4 days, which is another big change, another big development that we're incredibly excited about as well. So please do watch out for that newsletter. Let us know any comments, any feedback on this. We feel pretty confident this is something that a lot of people want to see happen. And there are various ways you can support us, various ways you can get involved. So we'd love to hear from you. And I look forward to talking with you in the next video.